this prop.
Yes. So.
Warning next time.
No, just so that I can sync everything later. So it's
Okay.
Two.
It works.
All right. Okay. All right. Chris.
Yes, Jesse, how are you?
I'm good. You're a real estate agent.
I am.
How'd you get started in real estate?
It all started when I was at Countrywide Home Loans as a mortgage underwriter.
No kidding. How
20
long
years
were you
ago.
mortgage underwriting?
Over 15 years, so yeah, beginning in 2003.
Okay, so you've seen a lot of changes in the industry
Seen a lot.
in 15 years
Yeah,
as an underwriter.
lots of changes.
What's the biggest change you've seen since you started working in and around real estate?
I think even dating back to those days was the Nina loan and the CISA loan, which were no income, no doc, so you just literally had to have breath in your lungs to get a home. And so now it's a lot more extensive than that. There's a lot more checks and balances, to say the least,
Yeah.
to get a mortgage.
So how does having experience as a mortgage underwriter, how does that help you as a real estate agent?
I think it gives me the confidence to know that I know both sides of the deal. I think I know the lending side backward and forward, so I can speak to the buyer, whether it's first-time home buyer or experienced investor,
Yeah.
on the nuts and bolts of the loan. I can answer questions that loan officers may or may not know the answer to, and I may not even know the answer, and I'll have to get help, but I have a large network of people that I can also ask in the event that I don't know the answer as well. So I think that'll...
As a loan officer myself, I regularly talk to real estate agents, and they have questions about loans that, in my mind, are very basic, which I don't expect them to know, but I imagine that you probably have that base foundation of you can field the soft pitches on loan questions for new buyers.
Yeah.
Who do you work for right now?
I'm with Keller Williams Central. We're up in Richardson on near George Bush and 75.
All right.
Yeah.
And how'd you settle on Keller Williams? I remember a few weeks back, well, maybe a couple months ago, you were trying to decide where you were going to land, where you were going to get started, who was going to be a great spot for your first brokerage.
Yeah.
How'd you decide on Keller Williams?
It wasn't an easy decision. There are a lot of great brokerages around. There are a lot of great brokers. Everybody has their niche. Honestly, at the end of the day, I went with my gut call. Somebody who was comprehensive in what they would provide, and at the end of the day, it felt like home. And so excited to,
Sorry.
Very good.
My computer's not charging, so it's
There you go.
supposed to do that. Let's see. So you landed at Keller Williams.
Keller Williams, yes, sir.
And it's a good spot. And you just finished their Ignite program. Is that
I did.
correct?
I sure did. Yeah,
How's
nailed
Ignite?
it. It was very comprehensive. It was daily for 3 hours a day for a solid month. That was on the tail end of having been at Champion School of Real Estate for the prior month, and so just tons of training and learning and growing and networking and just continually learning.
All the stuff.
Yeah, all the things.
Nice.
Yeah.
What do you feel like the biggest strength you have that you bring to the table as a real estate agent?
I've seen a lot of people who don't follow up, and a lot of people who maybe don't care about the individual themselves.
Yeah.
So I think whether in personal life or business, always highly value is just following up and with people and doing what I say I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And also just deeply, caring about the individual, because at the end of the day, it's what's best for them as the home buyer or seller, and the rest will take care of itself. So, yeah.
Pull the mic a little bit closer to you. Yeah, perfect. Chris, what do you like to do outside of real estate?
Love to play tennis.
Tennis?
Love to play tennis.
Okay.
Do you play?
No, I don't play.
Okay.
My
Pickleball.
wife plays. Well, she plays pickleball too. I don't really play any paddle sports.
Okay, buddy. Wow. We'll start with pickleball. How about ping pong?
Ping pong. I could play some ping pong.
Bro, let's go.
All right.
All right.
We'll come set it up in the office.
I would love to. That's one of my favorite all-time sports.
Okay.
Yeah.
So paddle sports.
Love it. Basketball. Grew up playing basketball.
Nice.
20 plus years of that, and just absolutely love it. So, yeah, anything with a ball. Let's go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Favorite sports team? I don't need to ask, but.
Honestly, this may surprise you. Houston Oilers.
Oh,
Yeah.
Houston Oilers.
Yeah.
Oh.
Going back old school.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. How about you? Who's your...
Dallas Cowboys and Texas Rangers.
Sure.
Those are the ones I grew up with. Like, I mean,
Absolutely.
I'm probably only like 7 out of 10 on sports commitment.
Got it.
So
That's fair.
I keep track of the seasons. I know who's playing. I know when they play. I'll check the highlights or the updates, but I don't usually watch games and couldn't name more than a couple players per season.
How about top 2 or 3 Cowboys of all time?
Oh gosh. Okay. Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith.
Right.
Easy. And then if I did number 3, probably Deion Sanders. Yeah.
Prime.
Yeah.
I love it.
Those were
He's a
the
stud.
ones that I grew up with.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, Emmitt Smith had this promotion with Coca-Cola, and it was called the Red Zone or Emmett Zone or something.
Okay.
And if you collected wrappers, like wrappers from 2-liter Cokes or bottle caps or something, you could mail it in and get like a T-shirt or an autographed football or these different things. And I got my mom to call all of my aunts and uncles. And I have 6 or 7 aunts and uncles on each side, and probably 40 cousins on each side. Wow. And I got my mom to call everybody and tell them, hey, Jesse's trying to collect Coca-Cola things. And so for weeks, I would get envelopes in the mail with just Coca-Cola wrappers that they had like torn off bottles in, and I got a T-shirt, and I thought it was the freaking coolest thing.
How cool is that?
And then I grew up and found out Emmitt Smith is pretty savvy entrepreneur investor guy, and he's a part owner of the Gins Place, which is actually where for a long time I got my hair cut. And they used to do a annual charity poker event. And one year I almost bought a ticket to it because I knew Emmitt Smith was going to be there, and I really wanted to tell him about how I saved my Coca-Cola wrappers from its own.
Oh my gosh.
10 years old.
How cool would that have been?
And I hear he's a really nice
Epic.
guy.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he's still pretty involved in the franchise and the company, so I'm sure at some point I'll get to go hang out with him or meet him or something.
So with Dez, was it a catch?
Oh yeah, it was a catch.
Okay.
For sure.
Got it. You heard it here first. Yeah.
Yes, it's a catch.
Yeah.
All right.
I love it.
Did you think it was a catch?
It was a catch.
Yes.
It was a catch.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So Houston Astros, we won't rub it in too much.
Yeah. Congratulations to the Texas Rangers. Yeah, they were so sharp this year. So, and actually, they're going to look pretty fierce next year.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The Astros are good too.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Try our best. Yeah.
You got a dog?
Got a dog named Maple. She's about to be 2 years old in next January. So maybe have a little dog party for all the local dogs. But Maple, golden doodle, 39, 40 pounds, and full of energy and lots of licks and love. I don't think she knows how to bark, barely. So yeah. How about you?
2 dogs.
2.
Doberman Pit mix and a Pug Papillon mix. So one is big and one is little.
I was going to say, how big is the first one?
The Doberman Pit mix is about 55 or 60 pounds.
Okay.
And she's about waist tall at the head. So shoulders beneath the eye.
Right.
Maybe a little bit shorter. Actually, maybe knee height at the shoulders. But she's big enough where when we had a 4-foot fence, she could jump over it.
Ooh.
So we had to build a 8-foot fence. And
do you really have an 8-foot?
So
wow.
built it. This is the second house that I built a fence for my dog. It is the worst decision I ever made. Was like keeping this dog. I should have given it away like 8 years.
The struggle is real.
It really is. Because I mean,
dog parent life changes your world.
Yep. And then kid parent life changes your world again.
Even more so.
I'm like, now what do I do with my dogs? Because they need more attention than I give them.
Right, exactly.
But both of our dogs are 10 plus years old. So I think we're on the home stretch of like full house, kids and dogs.
Not that you're counting the days.
Not that we're counting.
No.
But probably got just a few years left.
Got it. So. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
What are you most excited about this next year in real estate?
I think I'm excited about, there's going to be, we all know when the rates, they're trending down.
Yeah.
And so with that, that's going to bring buyers. It's going to bring a very competitive market. So getting into the action and getting my feet, boots on the ground going. So it's just going to be, and that's going to drive up values. But I just think it's going to be, I like to be busy and I like to be, working relationships and talking real estate. So I think it's just going to provide an ample opportunity to just jump in the deep end and go for it. So,
I think that's one thing that a lot of people, I've heard more people talk about it recently, but for a while it wasn't, I don't think like it was getting enough attention. I think people have been talking about it recently, but for a while it didn't get enough attention. Was when the rates come down and people come back in the market, we're going to see another big appreciation in home values.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm kind of fingers crossed happens in the spring, and then we get a busy second half of the year.
Yeah.
And we can get people into houses before then, so that they get to capture that value.
Absolutely, because there's a lot of equity at stake.
Oh yeah, there really is.
Which is part of a lot of people's wealth building strategies is to have home ownership and ride that wave. And I'm also just super looking forward to, and I just really love meeting with friends and clients and just talking about, their dreams and goals and how, what's the best fit for them. And it's exciting. So,
It's good. It's going to be a good year.
Yeah.
I think 2024 is going to be good.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. Yeah. Exciting.
What else you got?
That's right. Yeah. So I was talking to you earlier today, about 30 minutes ago, about something I was really proud of, and I want to hear what your favorite childhood memory that pops up. But I was, fishing with my dad at 6 years old out of the piers in Galveston, and my dad loved it. It was just something I went along with. But I was able to reel in the biggest fish for a 6-year-old in the history of Galveston, Texas. I was literally being serious.
Oh my God.
And it made the Galveston paper, it made the news. So that was a big deal when I was 6.
Sure you were like pulling my leg and just being
silly. No, man, all serious business here.
Oh, wow.
So what about you? What was your favorite childhood?
My favorite childhood memory, okay. When I was 6 or 7 years old, the ballpark in Arlington opened.
Okay.
So this is where the Rangers played before Globe Life Park that they're in now. It was Globe Life, or Globe Life Field is what they're at now. Before it was Globe Life Park. Before it was called Globe Life Park, it was called the ballpark in Arlington. The first game was on a Saturday, but that Friday they had opening day festivities. Mm-hmm. And so my dad came and picked me up from school and took me out to the ballpark in Arlington, and we went around and saw all the stuff that they were doing, like all the little fanfare and stands, and actually ended up doing sand art. You pour the sand in the bottle and you scoop
Yes.
Not anything extravagant, but I thought that was so cool. And we took this Polaroid of you're standing in front of a big wall paper, but it looks like it's a Dallas Morning News article. And you'd stand in front of it, and they'd take a picture of you, and you'd stand in the spot where the picture of the newspaper article is supposed to be. So it makes it look like you're in the newspaper article.
Cool.
So we got two Polaroids of that. And then the last game that they had at Globe Life Field, they had the same kind of like Polaroid thing set up with a newspaper article. Me and my dad took another picture there.
I love it.
Like, what was this? Almost 30 years later.
How cool is that?
I was at the first game and I was at the last game.
Man.
Me and my dad took pictures for the two things.
That's epic.
That's probably one of my fondest memories. And maybe not like the coolest at the time, but now as an adult in hindsight, seeing the bookends of I lived through that whole stadium life, and I went to the first and the last one. That was pretty cool.
That's super cool. So what do you think? The new current stadium, or are you a fan of the older stadium? What do you...
Honestly, I liked the one before the ballpark in Arlington.
Really? Okay.
Because you could get bleacher seats in the outfield, and we would take little pads, and I only vaguely remember it, but I remember sitting in the bleacher pads in the outfield on the bleachers, and I thought that was so cool.
How freaking cool. So I only remember the ballpark before the current one.
Right.
So I was living in Houston. Yes, which I absolutely loved.
It's a great
It has that classic feel. I think the Baltimore Orioles ballpark, it's very similar in that. But I just think it's a historic, beautiful building. So, but that's such a cool memory that you have with your dad, and just so cool. So tell me about what's on the docket for the Benavides Christmas
Ooh,
What are y'all up to?
Christmas. So we always do Christmas morning at home.
Great.
Even before we had kids, it was just me and Rachel. So we'll do it at home. We have matching pajamas. We'll open presents. We'll make a slow breakfast, cinnamon rolls, eggs. Like my boys love scrambled eggs.
Making me hungry.
It is their favorite. Like they would eat a dozen eggs. So we'll have scrambled eggs. We'll have cinnamon rolls. I'll have frosting on mine. Nobody else will really have frosting on theirs.
Wow, controversial.
Rachel might have a little bit, but the boys don't get frosting on their cinnamon rolls. They just have the cinnamon bread. And then we'll open presents and play. This is the first year that my oldest son is old enough to understand what's going on, like at a high level, and talk about it. So he'll probably really enjoy Christmas morning.
Remind me, how old is he?
He's 3. He turned 3 last week.
Okay.
So Silas is 3.
Wow.
Teddy is 18 months.
Happy birthday, Silas.
Yes,
Yeah. Belated.
So Christmas, that's what we'll do for Christmas.
I love it. So actually, fun fact this year is my family and I are going on a cruise.
No kidding.
Yeah. So we're heading out in a couple of weeks with my family down in Houston. So uncle, and you mentioned cousins earlier, and I can relate. My cousins are like brother and sister to me. So super close, super excited. And then, I think we'll just have a big family gathering down in the Houston area. So full of, gifts and good food. And honestly, we always just laugh just a ton when we're all together. So that's what I look forward to the most. So just my favorite season of the year. So I'm really excited.
Cool. I don't know what else to talk about.
Yeah. Talking about Common Desk, or I don't know. Do you like that? I don't know. Talk about where we met. I don't know. Whatever you think.
Have you? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, Chris, we've known each other a long time.
Yeah.
We met at Normandy.
Normandy.
We met at church.
Yeah. Wish that had been 2013, 2014. I don't remember, which won't surprise a lot of my friends.
How did Hunter Orr find our church? Did you invite Hunter?
That is a small world. That is a funny story. So my cousin Jeff in Houston is a pastor.
Right.
Hunter's parents went to his church.
Okay.
And so they connected with Jeff, my cousin in Houston, who I think connected Hunter and I. I happened to be going to Normandy at that time.
Yeah.
And then invited him.
Bible study or small.
Yeah. And then that's where he met his wife, and so that was such a small world.
No kidding.
Yeah. Were y'all roommates at one point?
We did.
I thought. I love it.
I was a real estate agent for a while.
I did. I was just talking with Sean. About that actually. Just all the friends that Sean's worked with. Him being one.
Yep. Very cool.
Yeah. So.
Okay, so Chris, as a new real estate agent, you're on the grind.
Right.
What is the most fun thing that you do in your day-to-day working agent, and what feels like the grindiest? Like you gotta buckle down and push through it.
The opportunities that I have had to talk with friends about, hey, and this is where my underwriting mortgage experience are like, hey, I've been self-employed a lot, and here's the documents I have filed, I haven't filed, or I do have, and what can I do with that? Or first-time home buyers, enjoy speaking with them. So that just brings me a lot of joy. I'm a connector by nature, and so I love connecting them relationally, and also if it works out to be their future home. So that's super exciting. I recently did called Expired Listings and Canceled. And that is not natural for me. So that was a grind. Some people have so much success with it. It is, a lot of calls, a ton of calls, and you may, hit one or two just picking up the phone and want to meet with you and have that appointment. But that's that out of my comfort zone, to say the least.
Have you found that working as a real estate agent has pushed you out of your comfort zone a lot?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in good ways, it really has, because a lot of my career has just been, it's been behind, it's working behind the desk, right? And it's doing deals behind a desk, and with working with loan officers and brokers on the phone. But it's a brand new world of I'm just learning how relational it is, right? Because there's so many realtors out there, And it's just that matter of setting yourself apart and just building those relationships and just really seeing that it's such a relational business.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Question for you.
What do you got?
What of the agents that you've worked with, what do you feel like stands out? What makes a successful agent, and what do you like to see out of the agents you work with?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I like working with agents that, and this is selfish, I might cut this part out. I like working with agents that have their all-star team and really lean on that team. That will refer me with honor when they have a client and they say, hey, it's time to get pre-approved, you should call Jesse. He's really, and they say a couple of good things about me. So, and here's one of the things that I do to like test my agents, not test them, but like they're not gonna fail, but just keep my finger on the pulse.
Sure.
When I call somebody, they're like, hey Jesse, I connected with so-and-so, can you reach out to him? I ask them like, oh, how did you meet Shelly, the real estate agent? And they say, oh yeah, me and Shelly went to school together and we've been great friends for years. Oh great. Did Shelly, just so I know where to start, did Shelly tell you anything about me or my company or my business? And this will tell me, because people don't know what the right, or quote unquote, right answer to that question is.
Right.
They'll tell me the truth. And they'll either say, oh no, Shelly didn't really say anything, she just said I should call you. Or they'll say, well, actually Shelly said you are really good at what you do, or I should really ask about XYZ because you're really knowledgeable, or they'll give me a clue as to how Shelly refers me to this person. So I really like working with agents that when I talk to their buyers, they say, oh, Shelly said really nice things about you. She said you're really great at what you do, and that I'd be in good hands.
Yeah.
Because then that communicates to me, Shelly has confidence in me, and I like working with those people that I know believe in me.
Absolutely.
And I think real estate agents are the same way with buyers.
Yeah.
They like working with buyers that trust them.
Right.
They like working with a buyer or seller that knows this person has my best interest at heart and they're going to advise me well and I can trust them.
Yeah.
So I like working with agents that refer me to somebody and instill that trust into them, because then that makes the transaction much smoother.
Yeah.
When I don't feel like I'm getting second guessed.
That makes sense.
Buyers.
Yeah, and that actually helps me. And I've even heard, I mean, just, and everybody won't be a fit for everybody, right? I won't be a fit for certain clients, but I will be a fit for others, and vice versa.
Yeah.
They won't be one for me, and I won't, so that all makes complete sense.
Yeah,
so.
And part of a big thing in sales too is understanding what is a client's actual need. Like what is their problem? What is their need? Where can I fit in? What can I do to ease their pain?
Absolutely.
And so if somebody doesn't need hand-holding because as a first-time home buyer, but they need the analytics of an investor, then I feel like I have enough of the technical and soft skills. I have this good blend of technical and soft skills where let me understand how you're wired and what you need from a mortgage lender, and then I'll fit that role.
Right.
I know lots of mortgage lenders and real estate agents that are really good at a very narrow thing, and if you're outside of that thing, it's hard for them to adapt and pivot to be good for that individual customer. So where I really excel is people that want education and handholding.
Yeah.
But I also do well with investors that are analytical, because I can be analytical, and people that are very price driven, because I can understand how to present something side by side, two scenarios. Like if I'm giving them a price analysis between my loan scenario and their loan scenario, I can do a very apples to apples comparison and then help them make an informed decision. I'm not going to win every buyer. Like sometimes someone's going to decide to use Rocket Mortgage.
Sure.
That just happens.
Yeah.
But when I understand how somebody's wired, I feel like I have enough technical and soft skill to adapt my presentation to fit their need.
Yeah.
And so I forget what the question was.
Yeah. Well, and what I like about like working with somebody like yourself as opposed to like a Rocket Mortgage is that's just a big box. You'll never know who you're talking with. I mean, maybe you will, maybe you won't. It'll be an 800 number that it'll look like it's made up. But like working with a guy like you, right, in a more of a boutique space, who can close your loan quicker, I think that's a huge value add to working with somebody like yourself.
And who you can call up on a Saturday afternoon,
there you go.
3 p.m. on my cell phone and be like, hey, Jesse, we saw this house, it's great, want to make an offer, can you tell me what my estimates are?
I know, because you're probably building something for the kids or making a fort outside or hanging up Christmas lights. By the way, have y'all done Christmas lights yet? Or
we have not. Well, actually, tonight's the night.
Oh, wow.
Tonight we're wrapping the front. There's this like wooden fence screen on our porch. We're gonna wrap that in lights. We're gonna put up the Christmas tree, decorate ornaments.
I love it.
We don't put lights on the roof.
Okay.
We just haven't yet. So
Yeah.
I'm sure eventually we'll add that to the repertoire, but right now just tree and wreath and
I love it. I'm glad we're talking about that. I need to go get my tree, well, either out of the closet or get a new one.
Hunter is doing Christmas lights again. He's been installing Christmas lights for like 4 or 5 years.
Has he really? Yeah. Sean brought that up today. He's doing lights, so he's also doing Christmas lights.
He is doing Christmas lights.
Get out of here. I might have to give him a call.
Christmas lights.
Okay. Hunter Orr.
Christmas lights. Hit up Hunter Orr.
Hunter Orr.
I think it was Lights and Ladders. We'll link to it in the bio. So.
I love it. Oh my man, he's a great guy. So I have full trust that he'll do a great job.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We're gonna ask for a referral on all of his business that he does.
100%. Yes. Yeah. For sure. So. For sure. Yeah. I love it.
Well, you got anything else?
I don't think so.
This is good. Anything else you want to talk about? Anything you want me to ask you?
What do I want Jesse to ask me?
Correct.
Wow. I don't know what, I think like it's somebody who values following up. I don't know. So I'm supposed to think about the question you're supposed to then ask me.
Is there something you want me to soft pitch for you?
Yeah.
Jesse, ask me about this because I have a really good answer prepared. Or
love it. I think what areas of town that I'm really accustomed to.
Okay, yeah.
How about that? And then I can also speak to, having familiarity with Houston and then West Texas, but I'll probably leave that out. I'll just talk about, Richardson down to 30, which hugs like Hollywood Heights and Lakewood. So
yeah. So Chris, you grew up in Houston.
Right.
You moved to Dallas, and you've been back and forth between Dallas and Houston as an adult, a handful of times. But you had a good stretch in Dallas. What areas are you most familiar with in the Dallas area? Yeah,
so I went to school in Denton in North Texas, and so familiar with Denton, and actually shout out, love Denton. Spent the last probably a majority of the last 15 years in East Dallas, stretching from, and real familiar with like Lakewood, Casa Linda, I think over in your hood, your neck of the woods, really familiar with Richardson, and so all the way down to Hollywood Heights, in L Streets and down to 30. So where I played tennis, shout out to Samuel Grand. So just love those areas. We're super familiar, and often you can find me in those areas.
So up and down North Central Expressway.
North Central Expressway.
Down to 30.
Yeah, exactly.
Dallas,
and around the lake, 75218 zip code, which is where I am. And so you can usually find Maple, which is my dog, and myself around the lake or hovering around those areas. So
75228, that's my zip code, and I love that zip code. You can go from $200,000 2-bedroom, 1-bath homes built in the 60s.
It's fascinating.
All the way up to multi-million dollars in Forest Hills and everything in between.
I love that. Now, it's one of my favorite places in town. I love that area.
East Dallas, 75228, like that is my jam.
Okay, so that's yours. Love it.
I will not move out of that zip code unless I move to another state.
I don't blame you. No, it's great, and I have folks in my in my community group. Actually, they're in that zip, so I'm over there, so familiar with it and love it.
You're right next to it, like you're on the cusp.
Literally.
Saka Junction is right on the edge of
Exactly. So I'm real familiar with those, and like I said, have experience in the Houston market as well, and love Fort Worth as well. So shout out to the the stockyards out there. But yeah, that's my main areas, Richardson on down.
So Chris, if somebody wanted to get a hold of you, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Yeah, it's just a call or a text. My number's 940. You teed it up. 940-300-7273. Also on Instagram, CT Avary. That's AVARY. So CT Avary as well.
All right.
Awesome, man. Solid, super solid. I love it, dude.
Okay. Yeah.
I guess I could have thrown in my email too at KW, but
Nah, we'll get all the cool things.
it's great, man.
Yeah, dude, this is real good stuff.
Dude, you're super good at that. You're natural.
We got 30 minutes of raw footage.